Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and in this case we'll be doing a review of the Polaris. Yes, the giant ship that's the most recent addition in Star Citizen. As always, if you enjoy the content of the channel, do consider subscribing. If you want to start playing Star Citizen, this would be the right time to do so. I recommend getting the Avenger Titan pack because of the armor paint that comes along with it, and using the referral code so as to get the Hoover Quad, all of which stays in your permanent hangar. Now, let's start the review here in the most unlikely of places, which is the bed. Yes, it actually does work. People are asking. You have just to click on the right button there, and there you have the option of logging out. It is not that obvious, it's not all that visible, but it is there if you know what to look for. Yeah, apparently it does work, okay? Find yourself a bed, you can log out. The other thing you don't hear a lot of people mention is that these lockers, these are quite generous, 2,000K. That's a lot. You can actually get yourself changing these things. I wish they would do this more instead of being so petty at times with the storage capacity. Yeah, do this. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, CIG. It sucks. We like having a normal, decent amount of storage in these things because you end up using it. If you don't have it, you're kind of stuck. So as you see, we have this living quarters. You have a bunch of rooms here. We don't have, so these are all pretty much the same. Haven't tested all of the beds. The one I just came out of is the one on the left. Right, you do have captain's quarters that's not active right now. It's just locked. Apparently they didn't have the time to finish it. Yeah, that's how it goes. Let's start with a bridge. Okay, let's go to the bridge of the ship. Lots and lots of doors. The design, the internal design is quite bad. It is not optimized in the least. This is not the pilot chair. This is the one in which you fly the ship. No, you cannot shoot anything while you're in that chair. You're just flying the ship. Why? Well, just because that's the way it goes. As you see, I'm here in space. Right, quite nice. Beautiful, enormous, gigantic. So, why would you fly this thing? Why would you get this thing in the first place? Well, my advice is just don't get it. It's not worth it. Certainly not worth the price in any case, so don't. You are going to have, as a new player, which a lot of people probably are, you're going to have a lot more fun flying your little starter ships, which especially if it's like an Avenger Titan, which you see over there. We'll check that out in a minute in case you're wondering what it looks like, so stick around. That's going to be a lot more handy to get in and out, fly from one place to the other if you're doing these things. The missions, the things that you're supposed to be doing, which is playing the game instead of walking around your JPEG ship with nothing else for you to do. So, as you see, I'm not particularly selling this thing. I mean, I have no vested interest. I'm not shilling for anyone here. I'm just trying to enjoy a game. And unfortunately, the game hasn't been a whole lot to enjoy. So the bridge is this. The escape pods here on the side, none of this functions, none of this works, because why would it? It's not as if they just sold you. Oh yes, they did, but okay. Armory is decent enough. I like it, and it works. You can leave your guns in here, right? Let's just leave. You can leave a gun there, and you can go just pick it up like so. Nice. Okay. So you can do these things. And this is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to work. An elevator, lots of elevators all over the place. We have, what is this? This is the captain's quarter that is not working. Locked until they actually get around to finish it. Then we have the turrets, one on each side. If you're going to be soloing this ship, and I have a video about that after this one, you want to get yourself used to using these, running to these, and using them. Yes, you can do that because the shield of this thing is so enormous, up until the point in which they will nerf it, which they usually do. For now, it is so big that you can actually just run to your guns and shoot them, or just throw a torpedo. Living quarters that we were just in. This is the mess hall. You have chess. Pretty sure you can actually use this, right? So you can actually play chess. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm not going to play chess here, but anyone that wants to do it, I'm glad that it actually works. Unlike the pool table from the Star Lancer Max, which should work, doesn't. Food. None of these things work. They should work. You don't have a TV. You should be able to sit there and watch something. So many actual games do, like Grand Theft Auto or Cyberpunk. You can actually sit and watch a little bit of TV. It's just what a game is supposed to be. And we have these stupid things there that... Anyway, don't get me started. The engineering aspect that fortunately it's not even working, so we continue through the main corridor of the top deck, and we now end up in the hangar. The hangar is occupying right there in the center. That's from the Habs. You have a stair going down, which is nice. Having the additional option of using a stair is always nice to have, right? You going here, opening this thing. Oh, careful, airlock. All right. On the left side, we have some more turrets. Is it? Some more escape pods. And on this side, we have the prison. You can actually throw prisoners in there. No, that's not something that is in game. Something that they actually said specifically they would never do again. They just lie through their teeth. They specifically said they would not give people yet another ship with dead functionality. They promised. You have the Scotty ladder there. Scotty, is it? Anyway, just an alternative emergency ladder. They specifically said they would not release any new ships that had a functionality that was not in-game. And they still do it. You have those cells for nothing. You just don't use them. Main thing in the top deck is, of course, the hangar, which is quite generous. It is quite big. I actually have Buccaneer, which is an excellent option, by the way. Has a lot of firepower for such a tiny ship. And they have something a little bit more versatile, such as the Avenger Titan. The Avenger Titan is the ship I recommend getting as a starter ship. It comes along, especially with the promo now, it is on sale, so it's 20-25% discounts, about 50 something, $60 is what you end up paying for, using the referral, which you need to use when creating the account. That's very important. If you do that, you get the Hoover Quad for free. That stays in your permanent hangar forever, stays as a ship with an LTI, a lifetime insurance, which you can then CCU or upgrade to something else that you may want in the future. Again, extreme caution when spending a single buck beyond your starter package, because I will say it again, it is just not worth it. On the left side of the hangar, we have the medbed. Now this actually works. I actually saved my respawn location here, and this is the saving grace of this ship, which is, yeah, there's a lot of things that don't actually work here. There's a lot of things that make this ship a pain in the ass to even fly around in. Now, the positive side is that because it's so gigantic and so big, what you can do here is use it as use it as a giant base in which you keep some of your ships and you fly around, and you're basically mostly role-playing slowly. You're role-playing having an empty giant building of a ship, and instead of just hopping around and doing fun stuff, you are doing what I'm doing here, which is walking and watching the pretty ship. That's the main thing you can do here. And if you get killed, you can respawn back into the ship. That's a big advantage. Now, it also has to be said that other ships have the same thing. Other ships have the ability of using a respawn bed. Which are those ships? Well, the A90 Jump has that. No one wants to fly around an A90 Jump because it is, it is available in game, but it is just gigantic, enormous. It has less capacity than this ship, so yeah, even though it is available in game, so that's a big plus. But yeah, most people just don't fly around an 890 Jump, even though a lot of people will say they do. They're lying. They just don't. You also have the Cuddy Black, the Cuddy Red. The Cuddy Red is an ambulance ship that has guns, it can fight, and it has meds. That would be, at least the way I see it, much better to play and try to have fun than flying around in this thing. You do you, but that is simply objectively a more practical ship so as to actually play. All right. So as you see, we have the back of the ship, and here we get into the engineering aspect of things. We get into the engine. You're not going to be doing much, but hey, you can see it. This is how it looks. You can open things up. You also have, yes, as I said, you have the 890, you have the A90 jump, you have the the Carrack, which is a dead ship because you cannot even use the storage, which used to be a big plus. So that's not there anymore. Yeah, it's storage, no. So A90, a Carrack has the bed, you could use it for that. The hangar is very tiny, only fits like a Pisces or an Aurora, maybe a 100 series, that's it. So again, maybe not worth it. And then you have the very tiny, yet super handy, and one of the most beloved ships in the game, which is the C8R Pisces. The C8 Pisces is a mini ambulance, meaning it has a mini respawn bed. It has a couple little guns, so it's not ideal for any kind of fighting, even though it can shoot. But it's a very useful little car. It is super tiny, and yet if you die, you can respawn in that thing. The C8R Pisces is probably one of the things that you may want to CCU, meaning upgrade to from your Hoover Quad, if you're interested in that sort of gameplay, meaning having the ability of respawning instead of just immediately dying. Going again back, and we see yet again the engineering, the machine room of this ship. That's all pretty. You can stare at it. You know, that's the sort of thing you enjoy. Just look at it move and do things, right? There you go. Wonderful. How many times are you going to do this? Once, never again, ever in your life? There's no point. Up until the point where they force you to just run back and push buttons here, which is, in theory, some kind of fun. Then you have the big garage or storage room. I think it's 500. I don't remember. Just look that up. Again, these things always do change depending on how much they want to nerf things or not. But yeah, it is a lot of cargo capacity that you can fit in here. But mostly it's going to be for carrying around toys. That's what you're going to do. Because if you really want to just move around a lot of cargo, you would get a C2, which makes a lot more sense than this thing. But hey, here you go. I mean, yeah, you do have the hangar, so you could have a couple of fighters and a couple players. The thing is, that's not a real thing. No one plays like that. Oh, but I'm in an org. Well, good luck with that. Good luck finding all the time actual human beings, 2, 3 of them, to just man your video game ship as if no one has a life. Maybe you find someone, but in general, the reality is what you see in Global, which is people begging other players to join their Polaris, and no one is interested. No one wants to do it. It's not fun to be at someone else's order all the time. Some people like that. You will be hard-pressed finding people in general at any moment just waiting for your orders. That just doesn't work. Then you can have, yes, as you see, I have the storage box here with a few things. Yeah, I like the idea of having those lockers being so generous with 2K. That actually allows you, but it shows how petty CIG is. Why is it that you don't do that with other storage? It makes no sense. Why is it that not all storage has 2K? I know why it is. You just want to make this more appealing than the other things that you already sold, or the more affordable ones. That's fucked up. That's not right. Then we reach the Torpedo Bay. Apparently they will make this manual, so you'll have to manually. How stupid is that? In a giant spaceship, having to manually move torpedoes as if it's a catapult in the Middle Ages. No sense whatsoever. We keep on moving forward and we reach the bigger guns. You have an elevator here on the side which goes straight up into the main deck or very close to it, and there's the main gun. You access it here and you can shoot. I think these are size 6 if I remember right. It's right under the nose of the ship. There you go. Okay, there you have giant. Now, I was using this. It's not actually tracking correctly. At least I haven't found out a way to do so. Tagging the enemy with T and marking it does not bring up the pip or lag point to actually shoot at. And just aiming directly at the ship apparently does not hit it either, so I'm not sure how it works. I mean, this is typical CIG. They just don't bother sorting things out. They just throw them out there and just sell them, and it's barely working, or even barely complete. As you see, you don't even have the captain's quarter in the $750 ship that they just sold you. So yeah, that's very wild. And as I said before, we go back to the main deck. So, what is this for? Well, it is not. That's simply the simple conclusion that I reach. It is not. Oh, but I really want to get it. Okay, you really want to get it? Then the idea here is, it just drives me nuts that they cannot figure out how to do a proper user interface, which is the most simple thing you can have in a video game. They managed to screw that even. They have like 3 overlapping different user interfaces. It makes no sense. It was so much better 2 years ago than it is now. Okay, enough. Why would you have this? Well, again, I wouldn't. I don't see any logic in it. I'm just doing this for your pleasure, but I'm not going to be using this thing much more. I'll try to make it work for a few days and see how it goes. So you have another video coming up, and that was fun, a little bit. It was not No Man's Sky fun. It was not finding a new alien ship, asking for help and following to its own planet fun, but it was okay. And that would be the only thing that I can say positive about this beautiful, gigantic ship that has no place and no function in the lacking content of the world of Star Citizen, which is, yeah, it is big. You can have a couple ships. You can have a couple medium or small size ships in your hangar, and you can have a few vehicles, which you will never use. The vehicles are the thing that you never use in this game because there's no point in it. Why would you drive around a car in a game that has spaceships, and you can have a tiny spaceship in your bigger ship? Why would you do that? Well, you can park it and never use it. You can have maybe a hover bike or a tiny bike or some other vehicle just for shits and giggles, but not something you're gonna use at all. Just no, it won't happen. That's it, guys. If you think this is something you would enjoy, if you actually do have a very close friend that is like attached to the side of your body, and you would both be playing at the same time, always, and he will always be manning your guns and turrets, maybe makes a little bit more sense. Maybe if eventually they do get around to have NPCs or yeah, things work on their own. Yeah, sure. The ship does have a defense system that doesn't actually seem to need much, which shoots down missiles and torpedoes. That will get nerfed for sure very, very soon. But yeah, that's my honest, no shilling review of the Polaris. I hope you enjoy that, and if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Have an awesome day. Take care.